Hey guys, welcome to my third and final video in my series of divination card farming strategies for 3.18. Today we're going to be looking at how to farm a Headhunter using patient divination cards through the Promenade tile set. This is by far the most difficult of my three strategies, and it involves really juicing up our maps so that they drop huge amounts of loots and have a really high XP per hour, while still having a relatively reasonable investment per map. Now I'm going to be going over exactly how I juice these maps. However, this doesn't mean you should be juicing them the same way. I think it's very important that everyone should run maps that aren't killing them, and there is going to be a section later on in this video where you go over how to adjust this strategy for your character's specific needs. Right off the bat, I'm going to say this strategy is strongest for projectile-based characters such as Spark, Tornado Shot, Lightning Strike, or anything that can clear off screen. This strategy revolves around using a Mirror of Delirium, which costs 40 chaos for 4 charges on the trade website, which is significantly cheaper than Xana modding each map ourselves. For the other 3 sextants, there's a really good one for 5 chaos called Delirium Reward Bars fill 100% faster in your maps. Now, this results in you getting between 1 and 2 more ticks on our Delirium rewards, which I think is worth the opportunity cost of a sextant, as well as basically 1 or 2 chaos per map. And the other 2 sextants, just make sure they're adding more monsters to our map, because we're trying to get as many monsters as possible. In terms of scarabs, you can make an argument for quite a few different types. I think Blight, Breach, Legion, and Elder are probably my 4 favorites. And you could use Abyss as well as Divination as well. So there are more than 4 options. The concept behind this strategy is that we want to run through these maps as fast as humanly possible so that we can get to the end and have all the monsters killed before the Delirium fog overtakes us. The 3 best maps for this strategy are Promenade, Tropical Island, and Strand. For me, Strand is immediately out of the question because it has no good divination cards. Promenade gives us the Patient, and Tropical Island gives us the Scout. I think it's fairly reasonable to expect 1 Patient per map running this strategy. However, on Tropical Island, you could go 10 plus maps without getting a Scout. It's quite a rare card. At the end of the day, it's just preference on which one you want to farm. A lot of league mechanics will actually help us in our goal of trying to complete the map before the Delirium Mist overtakes us. The best example of this are breaches, where whenever you're standing inside the area of a breach, the mist is completely paused. This is really strong for projectile-based builds because we can clear huge amounts of the map while just standing inside an opening breach and off-screening in different directions. Blight is also very strong because well, first of all, it ticks up our rewards by a lot because there's so many monsters, but also whenever you're in the Blight area, the Delirium Mist is paused, so you're getting all those free rewards without risking the fog overtaking us. For Abysses, this is kind of a double-edged sword. Whenever the Abyss crack moves on to a next location, we get extra seconds before the mist starts advancing again. However, Abysses can go forwards or backwards. If it goes backwards, you just kind of have to let it go and just lose the Abyss, because if you run backwards, you're not going to finish the map on time. However, if an Abyss goes forward, it is very, very valuable, so that's something you have to consider. For Elder Scarabs, those unfortunately do not help us in extending the time. So if you are never finishing these maps on time, that might be something you want to think of cutting. Some other league mechanics that help us include Ritual, which pauses the mist completely whenever we activate a Ritual pillar. Strongboxes will help us by adding a few seconds onto the mist timer every time we click a strongbox. Harbingers do the same thing as strongboxes, and Essence also does the same thing as strongboxes. So if you like blood-filled vessels, ambush scarabs, harbinger scarabs, or if you luck out and hit Essence when we mod Fortune Favors the Brave, those are all pretty nice to have. I think the last important thing to note is that we should be running alpha on each map. Whenever you enter an alpha incursion area, this also pauses the mist, so you don't have to worry about completing the alpha temple fast. But most importantly, these alpha temples have a lot of monsters, which really synergizes well with filling up your delirium and getting the most rewards at the end. So let's break down all of the costs on a per map basis. We're paying 10 chaos per map for the Delirium Mirror Sextant. We're paying 2 chaos per map for the 100% Deli Rewards Sextant. And for the 2 other random pack size Sextants, that's about 2 chaos per map. The Scarabs are really cheap. Blight, Abyss, Legion, Elder are all 1 chaos. So that's 4 chaos per map. And you should be going for Polished for all of these. Alva, if you don't have the Alva missions, you're going to be paying 3 chaos per map to have an Alva Sextant. And finally, Fortune Favors the Brave, that is 3 chaos per map. So our total cost is only 24 chaos per map. Now, as for the loot, we can easily assume we're going to get between 100 and 200 Simulacrum Splinters, and this already equals 25 chaos. So with just the Simulacrum Splinters, we're already breaking even. Then there's the really high chance we're going to get at least 1 Delirium Orb. Those are worth minimum 12 chaos each. We're getting the Patient cards as a bonus. We're getting all the regular loot from a Mega Juiced map as a bonus as well. As you're first starting out, I would recommend ignoring all the loot and just focus on getting to the end of the map and beating the Delirium Fog. However, as your damage gets higher and you get more used to running the map, it should be possible to loot as you go and still finish the map before the Delirium Fog overtakes you. Now, why don't we hop into Path of Exile and I'll go over the Atlas tree with you guys. This is my passive tree, and don't feel like you need to copy it exactly, but I want to explain the important bits just to make sure you're not missing anything crucial. So first of all, you want to have all of the top of the tree spec'd. This increases the effect of map modifiers by 30%, and it makes those harder by 30%, although each map modifier has an associated value for pack size as well as quantity, and this is also buffing those by 30%. So this just increases the rewards a lot. We also want to go up here to Shaping the Valleys. Since we're using a Sextant to get the Mirror of Delirium, this lets us use Fortune Favors the Brave to add 10% pack size, and 10% pack size is a lot, so this will have a really big impact on the feel of our map. Third, you have to run Alva on every single map. These maps are no good without Alva, and this makes Alva even better. So this is very important to get right here. Now, if you're running Blight, which I suggest you run, although you don't have to run Blight, like in the video I was running while talking about the strategy, I didn't actually run a Blight Scarab. But if you do run Blight, immune response makes it a lot better. I didn't have that spec'd. I would have had probably even more loot if I had the spec'd at the time. I think those are like the crucial stuff you need to have. Nothing else on here is too... Oh, no, wait. This is the last thing that's crucial. Because breaches are like no question. You got to run them because they help us finish the map much, much easier. And breaches feel terrible without Flash Breach. So those are all the crucial stuff. I'd say the least important stuff would be all the Abyss nodes. Like I still have this spec just because I really like Abyss, and sometimes I run an Abyss Scarab anyways, and I just take the 50-50 whether I can run with the Abyss or I just let it fall behind and I just lose it. But definitely feel free to unspec those. If you unspec those, these are some pretty good Delirium points, and these are some more Delirium points that are pretty good. So I might actually unspec these myself and get more into Delirium. And the other thing that is very unimportant would be Valley of Darkness. I only have this because I'm running a Headhunter. In fact, if you're not running a Headhunter, I would suggest not taking this. This would hurt you. I'm taking this to steal more mods. Now, I think that pretty much covers everything. I didn't talk about the shrines. I like shrines. Again, they're not important. You don't need them. I think these Beyond wheels are just really good value. It would be a shame not to have them, but they're not that important either. I think that covers the passive tree. I'll have a link in the description so you can see this online. So for crafting maps, you want to use a Regex that takes away the mods that can kill you. For me, it's no regen as well as lower max res. Get all your maps to 20 quality. And alk your maps with the Regex in mind, so it filters out the stuff that have low pack size and dangerous mods. And since we're running a Delirium Mirror, which means we don't need to use Deli Orbs, there's really very little risk in voling the good maps. Vol everything. When they go un-ID'd, that is 30% extra quantity, which is very, very nice. Again, like I got 2 that brick, just these ones just have lower, like the pack size went down, they're no longer in my filter. However, you are going to get some 8 mod maps. Like look at this, 133 quant, that's crazy. This is going to be really, really juicy. And getting these high 8 mod maps is just going to result in so much more splinters at the end. This strat really wants the vol orbs. With 0 to 2 patient cards per map, it could take up to 500 maps before you actually farm a Headhunter solely with divination cards. In fact, it might take more than 500 if you're not juicing as much as I am, or if you're opting to forego the divination scarab to full juice using 4 league mechanic scarabs. However, these are not necessarily bad because when you full juice that way, you do get a lot more XP and you are going to be getting a lot more just profit from your map as well. So, you know, that's totally valid. And in that case, you would just end up using some of the profits you make to buy some doctors and get your Headhunter a lot faster that way. I personally have a Headhunter already, but I really like doing Legion and I really like running Deli Mirrors, and that's why I'm running this strat anyways. Well, I think that about wraps up this strategy. I hope it was helpful to you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.